Sometimes the smallest heart carries the heaviest pain. This is the story of a fragile little bird who lived in the middle of a burning desert. The land stretched endlessly, covered with golden sand dunes that shimmered under the blazing sun. The air itself felt like fire, heavy and suffocating. In that harsh wilderness where life barely survived, this little bird struggled to exist. Her days were filled with pain. She was always weak, her tiny body trembling whenever the hot winds blew. Most of her feathers had already fallen, leaving her wings bare and useless. She could no longer fly, no longer feel the joy of soaring high against the sky. Her home? She had none. She would hop from one rock to another, sometimes resting under the shadow of a dry thorn bush, but never knowing where she truly belonged. Hunger followed her like a shadow. There was no grain to eat, no pond to drink from, and no friendly voice to comfort her loneliness. Every night, when the desert grew silent and the stars shone coldly above, she would curl up on the sand, her body shivering, her heart aching, wondering if there would ever be an end to her suffering. One scorching afternoon, as she sat exhausted on a cracked stone, her eyes caught the sight of something unusual. Soft wings glowing white against the sun. A pigeon, strong and graceful, flew across the desert sky. His feathers glistened, and his flight was smooth, almost effortless. For the little bird, who had forgotten what it felt like to fly, this sight was both beautiful and heartbreaking. Gathering all the strength left in her frail voice, she called out, "Brother, please stop. Please." The pigeon heard the trembling plea and slowed down. He gently landed near her, his eyes filled with concern. "What happened, sister?" he asked kindly. "Why do you look so weak and sad?" The little bird's eyes filled with tears. "Brother, where are you going?" she whispered. "I'm flying towards heaven," the pigeon replied, his voice calm and peaceful. At those words, a flicker of hope appeared in the bird's tired eyes. Her heart, which had been drowning in despair for so long, suddenly felt a spark of light. She folded her fragile wings together, almost like folded hands, and begged, "Brother, please, when you reach heaven, will you ask God about me? Ask Him when my pain will end. When will my bad days turn into good ones?" The pigeon felt the weight of her words. With gentle assurance, he said, "Yes, sister, I promise. I will ask about you." And with that, he spread his white wings and flew high into the endless sky until he disappeared from her sight. When the pigeon finally reached the gates of heaven, he was welcomed by an angel. The pigeon bowed and spoke softly. "I have come with a question for God on behalf of a suffering bird. She is broken, lonely, and in deep pain. Please tell me, what is her fate? When will her suffering end?" The angel listened and then lowered his gaze. "It has been written," the angel said gently, "that this bird will live in sorrow for 10 more years. Her test is not over. No happiness will come to her before that time." The pigeon's heart sank. 10 years? For a small bird who was already at the edge of life, 10 years felt like eternity. His eyes grew wet. "If I tell her this truth, she will collapse completely. Her little heart will break. She has already lost so much. Isn't there any way to ease her suffering?" The angel remained silent for a while, then said, "There is one way. Tell her to repeat these words in every situation, whether in pain or in ease, whether thirsty, hungry, or hopeless. Tell her to say, 'Thank you, God, for everything.' This is her real test. Gratitude in suffering is the key to her freedom." The pigeon bowed again, and with a heart heavy yet hopeful, returned to the desert. When he found the little bird, she was sitting under a thorn bush, her head low, her body weak. He told her everything: the written sorrow, the years of pain, and the secret message. At first she could not understand. Her voice cracked as she asked, "How can I say thank you when my whole life is nothing but misery?" The pigeon gently placed his wing over her. Sister, trust the message. Even if it feels impossible, even if your heart resists, say it. Say it with honesty. This is the only way. The bird closed her eyes. For a long time she remained silent. Then, with trembling lips, she whispered, "Thank you, God, for everything." From that day, her promise began. When she stumbled on the hot burning sand, her tiny feet scorched, she still whispered, "Thank you, God, for everything." When she grew thirsty and searched everywhere but found not a drop of water, she whispered, "Thank you, God, for everything." When her body shook with sickness and her feathers continued to fall, leaving her even weaker, she still whispered, "Thank you, God, for everything." Days passed. At first, nothing changed. The desert remained cruel. Her pain remained real. But something subtle was shifting. Inside her heart, her tears slowly turned into acceptance, her cries into calmness. Her spirit grew lighter. And then, the magic began. One evening, as she lay weak on the sand, dark clouds gathered in the empty sky. A cool wind touched her face, the first gentle breeze she had felt in years. Suddenly, the heavens roared, and heavy rain poured over the desert. The dry land drank eagerly, and tiny green plants began to sprout where only dust had lived. Nearby, a small pond of fresh water formed. The little bird looked at it with wide eyes. For the first time in so long, she drank deeply and quenched her thirst. Her feathers, once dull and broken, slowly began to grow back, strong, shiny, and full. Her wings, once useless, now stretched proudly. She could fly again. She could laugh again. Life returned to her. Days turned into weeks, and the desert around her transformed. Flowers bloomed, trees sprouted, and the lifeless silence was replaced by the melody of living things. The once dying bird had become a symbol of hope and strength. One day, the white pigeon returned, flying gracefully across the desert. He could not believe his eyes. The place he had left barren and dry was now alive with greenery. And the little bird, once weak, hopeless, and broken, was flying high, singing joyfully, her wings glistening in the sun. He landed near her, stunned. "Sister, how is this possible? The angel said you had 10 years of sorrow written, yet in just 10 days, everything has changed." The little bird smiled, her eyes sparkling. "Brother, I did nothing special. I only kept saying the words you gave me. Thank you, God, for everything. I said it when I was hungry, when I was thirsty, when I was in pain. And slowly, everything changed." The pigeon was astonished. He quickly flew back to heaven and asked the angel, "You said her life was written with 10 more years of sorrow, but now she is free, happy, and blessed. How is this possible?" The angel's lips curved into a gentle smile. Yes, her fate was written with 10 years of sorrow, but gratitude has the power to burn away past karma. When someone sincerely says, "Thank you, God, for everything in every situation," they rise above what is written. Her test was completed in just 10 days because of the purity of her heart. Gratitude turned her fate. And so the truth was revealed. Most of us, when faced with even the smallest problem, begin to complain. We say, "Why me? Why is life unfair to me?" But what we don't realize is that complaints make our burden heavier, while gratitude makes it lighter. Complaints trap us in sorrow, but gratitude opens the doors of blessing. From today, promise yourself this one thing. Whatever situation life puts you in, whether painful or joyful, whether full of tears or laughter, you will always say with a sincere heart, "Thank you, God, for everything." Because sometimes, just this one small change can transform your entire life. So let us say it together, right now. Thank you, God, for everything.